Breaking news from WRAL. Coverage you can count on.
That breaking news involved 3 people who died in a Fayetteville crash identified as high school students. The statement from Cumberland County Schools on the tragedy.
And yesterday's front has moved by. It will be breezy behind that front. I'll talk about the big cool down ahead as we get through the next several days.
Tar Heel turmoil, new developments in the fallout from coach Bill Belichick and the saga involving the UNC football program. What a player is saying as WRAL investigates the locker room drama. And hitting the ice, the Carolina Hurricanes get their new season started tonight. What Caniacs can expect at the Lenovo Center as they cheer the team to victory tonight. So glad you're with us here on Fox 50 in the 8 o'clock hour. I'm Ken Smith. Always appreciate your time. Let's get over to meteorologist Elizabeth Gardner in the WRAL Severe Weather Center tracking this beautiful fall morning we're experiencing.
Sunshine behind you. I've got sunshine behind me. It looks just beautiful everywhere. This is a live look at Fenton and Cary, where the temperature is 54 and the dew point's at 43. This time of year, that's pretty unusual. It just means it's extremely dry. So a crisp, cool start this morning, 58 in Fayetteville, 52 in Roxborough, 55 in Rocky Mount. It will be breezy this afternoon. Already beginning to see a little bit of a wind out there. We'll see gusts 20 to 25 miles per hour through the afternoon and a cool high of 70 degrees. Tomorrow, we'll start to see the clouds increasing as a low develops off the coast. That could bring us some rain on Saturday and Sunday. I'll show you how much we could see here and some pretty big impacts for the Outer Banks coming up. Grant?
Yeah, the majority of the impacts I'm seeing on the roadways this morning are going to be southbound. That's going to be on 85 southbound into Durham this morning. Still seeing some delays there. We're seeing around a 20-minute delay earlier. Now it's only around 10 minutes, but still keep in mind you could have at least some minor delays there this morning. Also watching a couple of new accidents. One is going to be at Falls of News Road, southbound near Sandy Forks Road. Not seeing any major delays there, but keep in mind you could see some delays in that general area, especially southbound on Falls of News Road there. Already had an accident earlier this morning. And then West South Street eastbound near South Saunders Street, a report of an accident there as well. Not seeing any major delays in that general area, but we'll also keep a close eye on that. Also an accident westbound on 440 near New Bern Avenue. You can tune us on the radio, 1015 HD3.
Well, thanks. Breaking news now. Within the last 30 minutes, we've learned 3 people killed in a crash in Fayetteville were students at E.E. Smith High School. The crash happened around 7:30 last night on Rose Hill Road. Nearby roads were closed last night as officers investigated. Another person who was in that car is listed in critical condition. Cumberland County Schools releasing this statement that reads in part, "We are deeply saddened by the tragic loss of 3 E.E. Smith High School students. The top priority of the administration is to provide support to students, faculty, and staff as they process this tragedy. The district student services team will be on site today to offer counseling and emotional support. The cause of one of the vehicle crashes is still not been released. We're working to figure out exactly how that crash happened." The town of Clayton, meantime, saying a person was killed after being hit by an SUV. This all happened around 8:45 last night on Clayton Boulevard. The WRAL breaking news tracker was there as police investigated. The road has since reopened. No charges have been filed so far. Police are working to notify that person's family before releasing that person's name. Also following more breaking news now, authorities are investigating after this crash in Fuquay Arena. This happened just before 2 this morning. The WRAL breaking news tracker was on that scene on North Main Street. You can see the car badly damaged. It appears to have hit a wall and a lamppost. Fuquay Arena police tell us only 1 car was involved. No one was hurt. New this morning, we're hearing from a UNC player in response to reports of that dysfunction and toxic culture inside the locker room coached by Bill Belichick. Kamuri House posted on X last night this statement saying, "Go Heels, they can't break us. Greatness is a process. Hashtag brick by brick." House played for Belichick's son, Steve, before transferring to UNC. Now, WRAL's Kelsey Coffey is live outside Kenan Stadium, and Coach Belichick is reaffirming, Kelsey, his commitment to the program and the team.
Yes, Ken, he is. This morning, we're staying on top of new developments within UNC's football program. We heard from Coach Belichick and the director of athletics late last night. We'll show you Belichick's statement first, where he says, "I am fully committed to UNC football and the program we're building here." The director of athletics expressing that Belichick has full support from his department and the university. Sources tell WRAL there was a locker room fight between 2 players Tuesday. Sources also say UNC cornerbacks coach Ramond Hawkins would not be in practice due to personal business. The Athletic is reporting that he was suspended for providing extra benefits. Despite UNC saying it's committed to Belichick, a Tar Heel 24/7 report says decision makers are looking into a possible exit strategy. Belichick's contract says lack of institutional control can be a cause for firing.
A lack of institutional control typically is made up of a lot of sort of lesser violations.
That was attorney Andrew Fine. He says two scenarios could point to lack of institutional control: players selling tickets and coaches offering improper benefits. But a move like that could be challenged in court. Now, you can follow our coverage all day long on WRAL.com. Just search keyword Belichick. Kelsey Coffey, WRAL News. I'm in Chapel Hill.
As you might imagine, news of all this turmoil sweeping through the campus. Students say the mood is entirely different than at the start of the season.
There's absolutely no respect on our team right now. I mean, you see it with media, we're getting just completely embarrassed. It's embarrassing.
And I thought this was his chance to redeem himself for all of North Carolina, but he comes here and now the program is awful. And quite frankly, I think there's just a lot of drama when we should be playing good football.
We should point out, though, that some students are not ready to hit the panic button yet. They said give Belichick a year or so before scrutinizing his work. Well, Pat Welch's first story broke Monday at 6 p.m. and spread from our TV news to the web to social media. You can watch that story and each development on WRAL's YouTube page. You can check out all the breaking developments on this story on WRAL.com as well. Just search Belichick. And, of course, tune into our afternoon newscast starting at 4 p.m. for more coverage on Coach Belichick and the UNC football program. Overseas now, Israelis and Palestinians expressing excitement and joy today. President Trump says Israel and Hamas have agreed to the first phase of a peace plan. That's after negotiators reached an agreement on a path to a ceasefire last night. Trump posted on his Truth Social account that all hostages would be released, quote, very soon. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu says he's convening his government to sign off on it today. Israel is expected to withdraw their troops to an agreed-upon line. Trump emphasized all parties in the agreement will be treated fairly. Back here at home, 2 state troopers are in the hospital after a chase and a shootout in Pennsylvania. The shooting happened last night. Pennsylvania State Police say the officers arrived at a Dick's Sporting Goods for the theft call. 3 people took off, sparking a chase on the interstate. Other troopers used spike strips to stop that car. A man started firing at the officers, hitting 2 of them. Other troopers fired back, killing that man. 2 women inside the car were arrested. PSP says 1 trooper is listed in critical condition, the other serious condition. Back here in the Triangle, Durham family looking for answers after finding this mess. I mean, more than 20 unopened pieces of mail, undelivered mail thrown into a ditch behind their mailbox. The mail was found includes a $17,000 church donation, medical documents, pay stubs, and a whole lot more. Marcus Turner says his discovery led him to track his own mail. He found out the envelope with his mortgage payment never made it to its destination either.
Sending out the check for our first mortgage payment, I don't know, 4 or 5 days ago. It got cashed a couple days ago, so I figured everything was okay. And then this morning, I got a call from the bank saying they hadn't received the check.
Sheriff's deputies went to the family's home and took some of the mail found in that ditch while the family filed a police report. We've reached out to the Durham County Sheriff's Office to ask about the status of the investigation. We have not heard back. In the meantime, Turner says he will be playing it safe with what he puts in the mail. Caniacs, get ready tonight. Your Carolina Hurricanes are taking to the ice at the Lenovo Center for their season opener against the New Jersey Devils. WRAL's Ali Katlabar is there live this morning. Ali, Caniacs are expecting big things this season.
Big things on the ice, but they're also expecting some big things on the concourse as well. Less than 24 hours ago, the Canes announced that the Lenovo Center will be serving up some new food. We got Willie's Hot Chicken here. It's even Canes themed. There's also the new Sup Dogs on the concourse as well. And in the bowl, there's some upgrades happening that fans will start to notice. The Lenovo Center is inching closer to completing its first phase of its $300 million renovation. attraction. This fall, they're expected to debut the upgraded View Bar and an updated concourse that's going to be on the 3rd level. The upgrades aren't ready just yet, but fans are expected to turn out. We're expecting a sold-out game tonight. Puck drop, it's at 7:30, and coming up in about an hour on our 9 o'clock hour on Fox 50, we're going to hear from, I want to make sure I get this name right. I just blanked on the name. But we're going to hear from 99.9 The Fan. He's going to be Adam Gold. You're going to be hearing from him. He's going to give us a breakdown of all of the Canes' chances. And also, we're going to have team coverage starting at 4 p.m. Reporting live in Raleigh, Ali Katlabar, WRAL News.
All right, we've got lots more to share with you here in the 8 o'clock hour. Harris Lake lawsuit. The family of a 10-year-old girl killed in a boating crash on the water files a wrongful death lawsuit. Just how intoxicated the suit claims the boat's driver was at the time. Postpartum protection technology helping to save new moms at Wake Med. The color coding system helping to spot potentially deadly birth outcomes before they happen.
You didn't need it yesterday, but you might want to grab your jacket heading out the door. Our temperatures are in the 50s, and it's going to be breezy through the day. I'll show you when temperatures will drop into the 40s coming up. 8:14. It's a beautiful morning out there. We take a live look at Durham, not a cloud in the sky. Temperatures are definitely cool. We're running in some places 15 to 20 degrees cooler than this time yesterday. 58 in Fayetteville, 52 in Roxborough, 58 in Goldsboro, 55 in Rocky Mount. So we're mostly in the low to mid 50s. You can see our wind speeds, some gusts in Roxborough up to 17. We've been gusting 20 to 22 in the Triangle on and off this morning. Steady winds that are about 5 to 10 miles per hour, but definitely going to be a breezy afternoon. We'll see 15 to 20, maybe some periods where we have 25-mile-per-hour gusts this afternoon, and that may continue into the weekend, and I'll explain why coming up. But in the meantime, if you're walking the dog this afternoon, our high will be 70, but much of the day will feel like 60s, so you may want to grab a sweater before you head out, Grant.
Yeah, thanks, Elizabeth. Watching a new accident. This is going to be off of Glenwood Avenue and off of Lead Mine Road there. So not seeing any major delays on 70 this morning, but could see some delays. Seeing some delays westbound on I-440, but we've seen many of those this morning, especially closer to New Bern Avenue with that accident there. So we'll keep a close eye on this. If you have any more, again, updates with this accident here, or if we see any major delays, we'll let you know about them. But watching the camera as well at I-440 and Glenwood Avenue. Right now, it's still pointed towards the interstate, and you're seeing those delays headed westbound. Tune us in the radio, 101.5 HD3.
Grant, thanks. The family of Brooklyn Carroll filing a wrongful death lawsuit. Carroll was killed in a boat crash on Harris Lake in August. Her family and Jennifer Staley, who was injured, filed separate suits. Both named the 6 passengers on the boat, Anne Marie Flanagan and the driver Quentin Kite. Police say Kite was driving the boat when he hit a group of swimmers, including Carroll and Staley. Investigators found 39 empty beer cans on the boat and about 50 in the water. The lawsuit claims Kite's blood alcohol level was more than twice the legal limit. It also says he told everyone on the boat to throw everything overboard. Flanagan and Kite are charged with second-degree murder. Postpartum hemorrhage is one of the most serious risks of giving birth. Now, a simple tool is helping Wake Med doctors spot warning signs sooner. When patients first arrive, nurses fill out a questionnaire based on their medical history. Patients then have a color-coded display on their chart, categorizing them as either low, medium, or high risk. Data shows hemorrhage rates at Wake Med have dropped from about 10% of births in 2021 to 7% last year. But Dr. Jenna Beckham says the effort is far from over.
There are a lot of racial disparities and a lot of our maternal morbidity sort of outcomes, and postpartum hemorrhage is certainly one of those. And utilizing things like this, where it is an objective risk screening tool, hopefully can mitigate any of those sort of underlying biases.
In addition, Beckham says increasing hospital closures, especially in rural areas, are making matters worse by creating maternity care deserts. It's a growing issue WRAL has been covering. You can find more on those stories on our website. Just go to WRAL.com under the Health tab. The North Carolina Wildlife Resources Commission warning about avian flu. New cases of the virus increasing during the fall and winter months. It's more prevalent on the coast, specifically in ducks and other waterfowl. To reduce the spread, you're advised not to approach any animal that looks sick and report any dead wild animals to the North Carolina Wildlife Helpline.
And happening right now in the WRAL Live Center, we have an update to a story that we've been following all morning long at a Fuquay Arena. Police just gave us an update saying early this morning, deputies received a report of a stolen vehicle in the area of US 401 and NC 540. Deputies observed a vehicle matching the description of that car, driving at a high rate of speed. They attempted to stop that vehicle. The driver did not stop, crashed into that telephone pole. Deputies pursued the vehicle to North Main Street, where the driver crashed and ran from the vehicle. They used canines to search that area. They say nobody was hurt, but there is nobody in custody at that time. They are still looking for that person.
State health officials say a person in our state has died from the flu. This is the first death of the season in North Carolina. Health and Human Services did not give an age of the person, but said it was an adult who lived in western North Carolina. Health leaders are encouraging you to get your flu vaccine this year. Wake County Public Health, meantime, holding a flu vaccine clinic today. The walk-in clinic will be at the Public Health Center every Thursday from 1 in the afternoon until 6 p.m. The clinics will run through November 20th. Clinics are open to everyone, no appointment necessary. The Durham Public Health Department has one final round of treatment to try and stop the spread of West Nile virus. Crews have sprayed different parts of the county in recent weeks. The health department reported a record number of mosquitoes with West Nile this year. It estimates hundreds of people had it but did not know it because they either didn't have symptoms or had mild symptoms. The health department says the spray poses a very small risk to people. Well, time is running out to register to vote in Orange County. Tomorrow is the deadline, but if you miss it, you can still register and vote in person at any early voting site. Early voting runs from October 16th through November 1st. Any voter can request a mail-in absentee ballot through October 21st for the November election. Well, let's turn our attention to the forecast now as we take this live look at the Garner Tower. Let's get right to meteorologist Elizabeth Gardner at the WRAL Weather Center. Boy, a beautiful morning, but we've got a few changes on the way this weekend.
Yeah, we're going to start off with our tropical update because certainly the tropics will play a part in our weekend weather, not necessarily because of Tropical Storm Jerry, but we'll start here. It's been slowly strengthening. It may become a hurricane by Saturday. Minimal impact to land. For the most part, it turns out to sea, with a couple of exceptions. The northern Leeward Islands may see some impacts, and there may be some small impacts in Bermuda, but no landfall expected. Right now, it's about 400 miles southeast of the northern Leeward Islands, moving northwest at 20 with winds at 65 miles per hour. So it's close to becoming hurricane strength. 74 mile per hour winds would make it a hurricane. It turns northward as it moves past the Leeward Islands. There may be some tropical storm strength conditions there along those northern Leeward Islands, and then the storm takes a right turn before it hits Bermuda. Bermuda, of course, will likely see some rain and some wind with that system, but it doesn't take a landfalling hit. What we'll see is this front here becoming stationary. You can already see some rain associated with that. A low will develop along the southern end of that front and bring us what could be a nor'easter over the weekend right along our coast. It's likely to be Saturday and Sunday that we'll see the biggest impacts, and the greatest impacts would be along the Outer Banks. So let's jump in and take a peek at where this is and kind of where it's headed. So we'll start here with tomorrow evening. We begin to see some rain along our southern coast late Friday. As we get through the day Saturday, the low itself develops and starts to move up the coast. Rainfall will be heavy. 3 to 4 inches are possible along the coast. Winds gusting up to 50 miles per hour. Overwash. Watch out for Highway 12. And we may have more homes along the Outer Banks falling into the water. This is a look at Sunday morning. And then as we get through the afternoon, it pulls away. So what about us? Yes, we do have a chance for some rain as well, mainly Saturday afternoon through Sunday morning, depending on where and how fast that system moves. For us, we're looking at maybe a 1/4 inch to a 1/2 inch, except our far eastern counties could see more than that. And then along the coast, especially far eastern North Carolina, 3 to 4 inches of rainfall. The biggest impacts, of course, will be along the Outer Banks with significant rainfall. We have high surf potential as well as a coastal flood watch and very strong winds. So this could feel a little bit like Imelda a few weeks ago. We'll continue to watch through the path of that as it develops. Grant?
Yeah, watching I-440 at Glenwood Avenue still. That's where I'm seeing the majority of delays right now. now, again, headed westbound. There was an accident that was reported Glenwood and Leadmine, but I'm not seeing any huge delays there. But in and around Glenwood Avenue on 440, we're seeing more delays than we typically see this morning. You can see this area in yellow indicating those delays all the way up to Glenwood Avenue and beyond as well, headed westbound. Also on the ramp, getting off of 440 to go Glenwood southbound, there are some delays there as well. So again, watching a few delays there this morning. Again, the accident is Glenwood Avenue and Leadmine Road, so you could see some delays headed northbound there this morning. Tune us in the radio, 101.5 HD3.
Hey, Grant, thanks. Well, still to come, flooding 911, illegal use of e-bikes, keeping police and fire departments busy responding to calls, the warning from several local departments. Savings in the kitchen. It's often the busiest room in the house and one of the most expensive. 5 on your side shares the small changes you can make in the kitchen to save big.
As you get into your car, tune to WRAL News Plus on your radio. In Raleigh on 99.3 FM. In Durham, 96.5 FM. And everywhere on 101.5 HD3.
Good morning at 8:26. We're going to get some breaking news right now. The Wake County Sheriff's Office reporting a crash at Fuquay Arena happened after a chase involving a stolen vehicle. It happened around 2 o'clock this morning. Deputies tried to make a traffic stop, but they say the driver took off. The car crashed on North Main Street in Fuquay Arena. The driver ran away.
It's a bright and beautiful morning. Look at all these cameras. Wilson, Durham, Fayetteville, all nice and sunny. But Wilson definitely showing the breezy conditions. It's going to be a fairly breezy day today, all afternoon too. 55 in Wilson, 54 in Durham, and 58 in Fayetteville. Sunshine for the most part all day, and a cooler afternoon with a high of 70. Grant?
A quick look at drive times this morning. Still seeing some delays headed westbound on I-40 this morning. A 5-minute delay from Wake Forest. Only a 1-minute delay from Knightdale. It was looking a lot worse earlier this morning. So glad to see those things are improving. Headed southbound on 87. And then a 13-minute delay now on NC 50 headed westbound from 98. Tune us in the radio, 101.5 HD3.
Commonly County Schools reporting 3 people killed in a crash in Fayetteville were students at E.E. Smith High School. The crash happened around 7:30 last night on Rose Hill Road. One other person remains in critical condition at the Cumberland County Area Hospital. The cause of the one vehicle crash has not been released. Next on Fox 50, the Canes season opener happening tonight. And up next on Today, on One-on-One with Maya Rudolph on Season 3 of Loot.
Now, breaking news from WRAL. Coverage you can count on.
That breaking news involves 3 high school students who died after a crash in Fayetteville. How the school system is helping students and staff cope with the overwhelming loss.
We have pretty weather in our forecast, but note that it will be windy, not just today, but all the way through the weekend. I'll explain the pattern coming up.
Football fallout. Statements from UNC aim to clear up the locker room saga. New developments in the drama over Coach Bill Belichick's program culture. Also, grab your jerseys. The puck drops tonight for the Canes' home opener and season opener, by the way. We're live with what fans can expect at the Lenovo Center tonight. Thanks so much for joining us here at 8:30 on Fox 50. Let's get right back to meteorologist Elizabeth Gardner in the WRAL Severe Weather Center, because if you're just getting ready to head out the door, you might need a jacket, Elizabeth.
It's chilly out there. Temperatures are in the 50s compared to the 70s that we saw this time yesterday. We take a live look at downtown Raleigh, looking over toward the Capitol building. Beautiful blue skies. The trees here, though, on Fayetteville Street moving a little bit. We have a little bit of a breeze this morning. It's also feeling very comfortable. Our dew point has dropped to 43, which puts it way over in the dry category. Mid-50s across much of the region this morning. A little bit warmer down in Fayetteville and Clinton with upper 50s and some low 50s up to the north, but definitely a lot cooler than yesterday. And not only is it cool, but we'll also have a breeze to deal with. Winds today gusting 20 to 25 miles per hour. So not only is it cool enough for a jacket, but that jacket also, you may need because of the wind. 70 for the high this afternoon. We're looking at the potential for some isolated showers for parts of the viewing area over the weekend and a coastal low that could bring some pretty heavy impacts to the Outer Banks. We'll check that out coming up. Grant?
Yeah, so watching an accident at I-440 at New Bern Avenue. You can see there are still some delays headed westbound on 440 this morning. So keep that in mind as you head out the door. If you're heading westbound towards Glenwood Avenue, there are also still some delays in that area as well. So generally 440 on the northern side of the belt line. We're seeing some delays this morning. You can see over towards Glenwood Avenue headed westbound or eastbound into town. We're seeing some more delays now. And of course, westbound on 440, as I just mentioned, we're seeing more delays there as well. Tune us in on the radio, 101.5 HD3.
And getting back to that breaking news right now, Cumberland County Schools confirming 3 people killed in a crash in Fayetteville were students at E.E. Smith High School. The crash happened around 7:30 last night on Rose Hill Road. Nearby roads were closed last night as officers investigated. A 4th person who was in that crash is in critical condition at a Cumberland County Area Hospital. School leaders issued a statement this morning that reads in part, "We are deeply saddened by the tragic loss of 3 E.E. Smith High School students following a single motor vehicle crash that occurred yesterday. Our thoughts and prayers are with their families, loved ones, and the entire E.E. Smith Golden Bowls community during this difficult time." Now, support services will be on campus today for students and staff members. The cause of the single vehicle crash has not yet been released. We're following more breaking news now. Clayton police say a pedestrian who was struck by an SUV has died. The person was crossing Clayton Boulevard or Highway 70 around 8:45 when they were struck. No charges have been filed at this time. The accident is still under investigation. The person's name has not been released, pending the notification of next of kin. And more breaking news now. Wake County Sheriff's Office reporting a crash in Fuquay Arena happened after a chase involving a stolen car. This happened around 2 o'clock this morning. Deputies following up on a report of a stolen vehicle near US 401 and Highway 540 spotted the car they say matched the description. Deputies tried to make a traffic stop, but they say the driver took off. The car crashed on North Main Street in Fuquay Arena. That driver ran away, by the way. The Sheriff's Office has not yet been able to track down that driver. Well, this morning we are hearing from a UNC football player after reports of toxicity in the locker room. Kamuri House posted to X after 11 last night this statement right here. It says, "Block the noise, go Heels. They can't break us. Greatness is a process." House is one of the players WRAL sources have identified as receiving preferential treatment by Coach Belichick. WRAL's Kelsey Coffey breaks down the latest in a saga of concerns out of Chapel Hill.
Right now, we're staying on top of new developments within UNC football's program. We heard from Coach Belichick and the director of athletics for the very first time late last night. We'll show you a statement now from Belichick where he says, "I'm fully committed to UNC football and the program we're building here." The director of athletics expressing that Belichick has full support from his department and the university. Sources tell WRAL there was a locker room fight between 2 players Tuesday. Sources also say UNC cornerbacks coach Armand Hawkins would not be in practice due to personal business. The Athletic is reporting that he was suspended for providing extra benefits. Despite UNC saying it's committed to Belichick, a Tar Heel 24/7 report says decision makers are looking into a possible exit strategy. Belichick's contract says lack of institutional control can be a cause for firing. We spoke with an attorney who says 2 scenarios could point to this argument: players selling tickets and coaches offering improper benefits. But a move like that could be challenged in court.
But given the history of how that term has been used and the things that have been used to constitute a lack of institutional control, I think it would be a difficult case to make that those 2 violations, if you want to call them that, constitute a lack of institutional control on the part of Coach Belichick.
You can follow our coverage all day long on WRAL.com. Just search keyword Belichick. Kelsey Coffey, WRAL News in Chapel Hill.
WRAL's investigation into the UNC football program getting national attention. It was the topic of a widely circulated podcast, Pardon My Take.
There was that report that came out today, I think it was WRAL, I
read that.
The long story about just how bad things are getting there. It does feel like there's a lot of things happening that would point to Belichick not sticking around too much longer.
WRAL's reporting on the Belichick locker room saga immediately took off online. Pat Welter's first story broke Monday at 6 p.m. and spread from our TV newsroom to the web to social media. The YouTube version has more than 126,000 views. You can watch Pat's original story and each development on the WRAL YouTube page. And of course, be sure to tune in for extensive coverage beginning at 4 this afternoon. Well, this morning, planners will break ground on what will be the tallest building on the Raleigh skyline. The Highline Glenwood will go where the old Pine State Creamery factory stood on Glenwood Avenue. The new mixed-use site will have 37 floors that include restaurants and retail space. For comparison, the PNC building has 32 floors.
When you have a building this large, it adds a lot of tax revenue. And so tax revenue comes to the whole city that gets spread around. So even if you don't live near it or work in it or anything, that building still helps the city because it adds a lot of tax revenue as well. And then it helps a little bit with our housing crisis that we're in as a country, really, but certainly as a region.
The Highline is expected to have amenities such as a fitness center, pool, and provide a great view of the city. No word on how much each unit will cost.
And happening right now in the WRAL Live Center, following some breaking news, Russian President Vladimir Putin says that Russia's air defenses were responsible for shooting down an Azerbaijani jetliner in December that ended up killing 38 people. He admitted to that today. It's his first admission for this crash. Putin made the statement at a meeting with Azerbaijan's president. The Azerbaijan Airlines passenger jet crashed on December 25th of last year. Authorities said the jet was accidentally hit by fire from Russian air defenses, then tried to land in western Kazakhstan, where it crashed, killing 38 of 67 people aboard. Putin apologized for the president and what he called a tragic accident.
President Trump says Israel and Hamas have agreed to a first phase of a peace plan, which he says will allow for the swift release of all hostages in Gaza. In exchange, Israel will withdraw their troops. Crowds gathered in Tel Aviv's Hostage Square to celebrate the ceasefire plan. An Israeli source says the hostages are expected to be released either Saturday or Sunday. President Trump emphasized all parties in the agreement will be treated fairly. Well, today, the Court of Appeals will hear arguments over National Guard deployment in Portland, Oregon. At issue, whether President Trump has the authority to send in the National Guard. The three-judge panel will decide whether to uphold or reverse a temporary order barring the deployment of the National Guard. This past weekend, a judge ruled the National Guard cannot be deployed for at least 14 days. The state of Oregon argues the deployment of the National Guard is unlawful and unnecessary. The feds claim extra help is needed to secure the ICE facility there in South Portland. Well, back here at home, a Durham family looking for answers after finding more than 20 pieces of open and undelivered mail thrown in a ditch right behind their mailbox. The mail found included letters, medical documents, wedding invitation, pay stubs, and much more. Marcus Turner found the mail. The discovery prompted him to look into his own mail. He found that his mail never reached its destination.
Sending out the check for our first mortgage payment, 4 or 5 days ago. It got cashed a couple days ago, so I figured everything was okay. And then this morning, I got a call from the bank saying they hadn't received the check.
We reached out to the U.S. Postal Inspection Service to see if that department is investigating the situation. We're waiting for their response. In the meantime, visit WRAL.com for information on how to prevent mail theft. A Wendell man charged with a shooting in Zebulon is due in court today. Police arrested 24-year-old Javier Montague without incident yesterday. He faces 3 charges, including assault with a deadly weapon and attempted robbery. Montague is charged with a shooting on Shannon Drive near Highway 97 and MacTodd Road last week. The victim is recovering from serious injuries in the hospital. The loudest house in the NHL expected to be live and up and running tonight. The Carolina Hurricanes getting their season started tonight against the New Jersey Devils. WRAL's Ali Kadlabar is at the Lenovo Center, and Ali, Caniacs expecting some big things from the Canes this year.
In the past 30 minutes, Ken, we've seen some of that setup now underway. Here we see a crew kind of lining up all of those water bottles, getting things prepped and ready for puck drop. And fans are expecting tonight's game to be an indicator of another strong season. Now, the Canes, they have been one of the best in the league for the past 7 years, and they have also advanced to the Eastern Conference Final before losing to the Florida Panthers. That was last season. They have a lot of new faces on the roster this year. Now, we also know that just this past week, the president of the Canes, Doug Worf, he resigned, and no one's been named yet to take his place. But we do know now that tonight it's the 7:30 p.m. puck drop at the Lenovo Center. They're taking on the New Jersey Devils. We also know coming up in just a few minutes, in the 9 o'clock hour, we're going to hear from Adam Gold from 99.9 The Fan. He's going to talk about the Canes' chances this season. Starting at 4 p.m., we're going to have WRAL team coverage throughout that time, throughout the game as well. Reporting live in Raleigh, Allie Cadlabar, WRAL News.
All right. Thanks, Allie. Escapee captured, where state and federal agents located the last inmate from this summer's jailbreak in New Orleans. Wildlife suspect in custody. Fire suspect in custody, I should say. Police say they've captured the man behind a deadly California fire. One investigator say he did after reportedly setting that fire. Let's head outside now, give you a look at the fall weather setting in. We'll have mostly clear skies this afternoon with drier air in place. Elizabeth tells us how high temperatures will get today.
846, taking a live look at Boone. Looks gorgeous there right now. A little hard to tell. The mountains are in the distance, of course, looking at this particular shot. But there's a little bit of color there in Boone. The best color is going to be in the highest elevations, Great Smoky Mountains National Park, Mount Mitchell, and, of course, up around Grandfather Mountain. Definitely starting to see some of that peak color in those highest elevations. We'll still have good color. This weekend's going to be a really good one for high elevations, and then those mid elevations for the 2 weekends beyond that through the end of the month. A pretty weekend in the mountains, 56 at Grandfather Mountain, 71 in Asheville Saturday, similar conditions on Sunday. Whole different story at the coast. We have moderate to high rip current danger, but it's not just that. We're going to see a coastal low that's likely to bring more flooding, more rip current danger, of course, but also some potential for the houses along the Outer Banks to fall in again with heavy surf and some very heavy rain. We'll see some rain out of that as well. Coming up, we'll talk more about how much we could see right here. Grant?
Yeah, still watching those delays on 440 westbound. This is where we're seeing the majority of the delays this morning. Again, this is westbound right at Glenwood Avenue. Still report of a crash there at Glenwood Avenue and Lead Mine Road. So still watching some delays west and eastbound there. So keep that in mind this morning. Seeing some areas of red now popping up there westbound on I-440. So again, leave some extra time this morning as you could have some delays heading westbound there. 5-minute delay from Apex this morning. 5-minute delay from Wake Forest as well heading south on Highway 1. Tune us in the radio, 101.5 HD3.
Hey, Grant, thanks. You know, the kitchen is often the busiest room in the house, and I can vouch for that with 4 little ones. And it's also one of the most expensive. WRAL's Ashley Roche shares some of the easy fixes meant to help you save big money with just a few small changes.
Consumer Reports says some small adjustments in the kitchen can help you cut your energy bill in a big way. Let's start with the refrigerator. This might seem like a no-brainer, but don't spend too much time staring into the fridge with the doors wide open. Get in, get out, keep the cold air inside. But that's not all.
Overstuffing it with food can actually cause it to work harder and use more energy and therefore cost more money because it has to pump more cold air around the food to keep it cold. And that also can put more wear and tear on the appliance.
And don't forget about the refrigerator's condenser coils. Carefully brush or vacuum the coils every 6 months to remove dust. Now to the kitchen sink and your dishes. When you're washing dishes, let the dirty pots and pans soak in suds instead of scrubbing while leaving the water running, or just use the dishwasher.
So more modern and newer dishwashers are incredibly energy efficient. They will always save you more water compared to hand washing your dishes. You just have to make sure that when you're using your dishwasher, you're loading it correctly. And to do that, you can check your owner's manual beforehand.
And you can save while cooking, too. Consider using an air fryer, microwave, or toaster oven instead of the full-size oven. They use a lot less power and won't heat up your kitchen on a hot day. Ashley Rowe, 5 on your side.
All right, the last of 10 fugitives who escaped from a New Orleans jail nearly 5 months ago back in custody after a tense standoff in Georgia. Authorities captured 28-year-old Derek Groves in southwest Atlanta. He was found hiding in a crawl space after a 3-hour standoff with the U.S. Marshals and the Atlanta Police SWAT team. Groves had been on the run since May 16th when he and 9 others escaped from the New Orleans Justice Center. Details on what led to his capture are limited, but Crime Stoppers say they received a tip.
You are one of the most important pieces of this puzzle because you step up when you call in, when you provide that tip, when you show up in court. That's what makes this happen.
Groves is expected to be sentenced to life in prison for his conviction on a murder that killed 2 people during a Mardi Gras gathering back in 2018. He now faces additional time for that escape. A 29-year-old Uber driver charged with setting a deadly fire in California is due in court today. The so-called Palisades fire killed 12 people and destroyed 7,000 homes and businesses. Federal authorities say Jonathan Renderheck set the fire during the early hours of New Year's Day. Investigators say the fire smoldered underground for about a week until January 7th. Heavy winds causing the underground fire to surface and spread. Authorities say Renderheck tried to call 911 several times but could not get through, possibly because of cell signal. Instagram users will soon have a new way to spot top creators. The social media app plans to award 25 creators the new Rings Award. The new reward comes as brand deals with creator and bonus programs slowly decline. Now, if a creator is given a Ring Award, they will receive a physical gold ring as well, a virtual gold ring around their Instagram profile icon. Well, she gets a gold star in our book any day. Meteorologist Elizabeth Gardner, the WRAL Severe Weather Center, tracking how our day and this weekend is shaping up.
Ken's just hoping it stays sunny. That's why he's talking like that. It is going to be windy and chilly today, tomorrow, Saturday, and Sunday. Today, it's mostly because we just had that front move offshore, and we have a difference between pressure between a high and a low, creating some breezy conditions. But by Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, we're going to start to see a low developing, moving up the coast, and that's what's going to keep the wind going all the way through the weekend. It sure is pretty out there right now. Live look at Sanford, 54 degrees. We have a northeast wind at 8 miles per hour. That northeasterly wind is helping to pull in that cool air. A little bit blustery out there, gusting to 19 in Goldsboro and 16 in Roxboro. The steady winds there in the blue box on the left, anywhere from about 10 to 15 miles per hour. And that wind's going to be pretty chilly. It'll be with us all the way through the afternoon with some gusts up to 20, maybe even 25 miles per hour. Our temperatures currently are all in the 50s, mostly mid to upper 50s, 58 Goldsboro. It's 54 in Roxboro, 56 in Apex and Garner, as well as Holly Springs. So it's much cooler than it was yesterday, anywhere from 10 to 15 degrees cooler. A nice afternoon for us, 70 in Raleigh, 68 Durham, 71 in Fayetteville. Yesterday, temperatures were in the low 80s, so this is definitely cooler. That cooler air is coming out of the north, of course. High pressure to our north is helping to push that cool air in. Once it arrives, it settles in for the weekend, and we're likely to stay cool for a while. Should make for a really nice evening for the Canes home opener. If you're headed out for tailgating, expect temperatures in the mid to upper 60s, but leaving the arena, mid 50s, it's going to be cool, and you can throw open those windows when you get home. Sleep with the windows open, low humidity, 49, nice and cool. We are looking at the chance for some showers on Saturday and Sunday around here due to that coastal low. We could see as much as maybe half an inch to an inch, depending on where you are. At the coast, though, high surf, some coastal flooding, and strong winds, as well as 3 to 4 inches of rain are going to cause some big issues, especially along the Outer Banks. Our highs stay in the 70s for the most part for the next 7 days. Ken?
Elizabeth, thanks. Bike violations. Emergency responders are being flooded with calls about illegal use of e-bikes. The warning from several local departments. That's coming up next. And as we head to break, take a look at your screen. What we have there are the winning lottery numbers.